Mm-hmm. On the stage, I was like, well, that was crazy. That was crazy. But all right, I think we are on, so I'm gonna unmute y'all in 2 seconds. Let me switch on to the main profile. Hold on. Oops. There we go. All right. Folks, y'all can hear me. I'm about to bring on, as you can see, Destiny and Miss Debbie. There they are. So what we're going to do first, before I even say hello and welcome everyone to the show, I'm going to have Destiny and Debbie both say something, and you guys confirm that you can hear them. So whoever wants to speak first.
Oh, well, hello everyone. I hope you had a good Tuesday thus far. So can you hear me?
Hey, much peace.
All right, we'll wait 2 seconds. And okay, they can hear us. So it's funny, I got the stream running in two places so I can see the comments, and I think y'all can see the comments too. So I have it running in here, and then I have it running in my other software. So anyway, welcome everyone to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic. I am in the still basement. There's no virtual Pinesfield, as you can see, because y'all know how crazy I am. I feel like if they don't have a background, I'm not going to have a background. I like to even everything. So anyway, 100th show. I should be excited, I guess. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm tired. Super tired. Commuted from DC today from work. It's been a long day. So to me, it's a special show, not because it's 100, but I have the ladies on, as you all saw in the title. This is their show tonight. I'm not going to do the intro as far as saying hello to everyone because I don't want to waste any time. I want to get right to it so we can get all the topics in. And if we go a little past an hour, I'm not mad at all. Just want to focus on that. But I guess happy 100th show to me. Destiny and Deb already gave me congratulations. So I thank them for that. And I thank everyone else who will say that. And as you can see, I'm all over the place. I unplugged the headphones so I can't hear nothing. There we go. But this is what we're going to talk about tonight, and it's their topics. I'm telling y'all, they are so professional, man. You guys have no idea. And I'm going to read to you right now what we're going to get in tonight and the way we're going to do it. Depending on if Debbie or Destiny wants to go first, either one of them, I'm going to have them speak first. Then I'll give my light comments because, like I said, when the ladies are on, it's not about me. I'll share in the conversation, but I really want them to get their shine and their light. So that's how we're going to do it. So here we are. Let me pull up the topics. Should have had them ready, right? The first one is, what should the team's identity be? We'll also then talk about, do we think that the free agents will fit the identity as far as the ones that we have in mind? But now I think we can expand that a little bit since we now know the free agents that we have on the team. So I'm sure myself, Destiny, Miss Debbie will give our thoughts on those guys as well and how they might fit. Then also we want to talk about how does the free agency moves across the AFC affect the Steelers. They gave examples. Russell Wilson, being with Denver. Marcus Williams being with the Ravens. Von Miller with the Bills. Chandler Jones with the Raiders. I'll throw another one. Devontae Adams with the Raiders. A whole bunch of people. They just informed me. I didn't even know this. Jabril Peppers now with the Patriots. He's the exact type of guy that will go to New England and excel. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about our favorite free agent move. And I'm sure we'll keep that still. Yep. What happened?
This screen is black.
Is it? Hold on. What about now? Is it black? Is it black on you guys in?
It just came up because I'm looking at my phone.
Let me see. I think I know why. All right, let's test this. What
Builder's
about now,
Life
folks?
Builder's
Black
Life just
again.
hit us back.
All right, black again. I know why. So I'm gonna not do what I just did. I think we're good. So let's wait 3 minutes, 3 seconds or whatever. I think we're good. I know why it happened. Trying to do too much, y'all. What about now? We're still good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're still good. All right. So don't y'all love live TV? The problem with me running it in two different places is I forget if I move that browser, it shuts down the stream because what I'm doing is capturing the window. So what I'm going to do right now, so we don't have to move around again, I'm going to pull up the stream on my phone so I can look at the chat and all of that. All right, I think we're good now. All right, guys. So the other topic that I didn't get to was, where am I? 1 second. Where is it? Here we go. All right, so we'll talk about the favorite free agent moves so far, and we'll talk early predictions. Will the Steelers, based on the team today, be better, worse, same, or is it too early to tell? So let's get right into it, man. First question, the ladies' question, I'll throw it to them, then I will answer. What should the team's identity be? So whoever wants to kick it off, that's what we will attack first.
Okay, well,
You got it, Miss Debbie.
okay. Well, when I think about it or thought about this question, I wasn't sure because we always were joking about what the team's identity is. So I tried to look at it from that perspective, and I really didn't know. So I was still kind of going back and forth with, some of the players that were brought in, some of the players that were on the team. And then what I kind of surmised for myself is, well, if anything, one of the things I want this team's identity to kind of encapsulate is that they're going to be competitive. So if I was looking at a team identity, I want that this team's identity to be one that's competitive. So irregardless of what their team makeup is, like last year, all the expectations of the team, not having a successful season and all of that, they were still, for the most part, competitive. Even when we've had Mason and Duck, it was still like an 8-8 season, so they were still competitive. So if I wrapped it in a sense of what the team's identity is, I want their identity to be that they're going to be competitive. I want teams to look at them and say, no matter what, this team is going to be competitive. Do I think they brought in players that represent that? We definitely have players on the team that represents that, and Cam and TJ, and for the most part. I think the one player that may have come to the team that would exhibit that is Miles Jack, the linebacker. Other than that, for the most part, I'm just hoping that the more players that they bring in or draft have that mentality that whenever they take the field, that their main thing is to be competitive. Every down, every snap counts, and their goal is to win that game, to win all the games. I mean, it's like out there, but again, the goal is to play for every blade of grass so that they are competing for every all of the time that they're on the field.
And I think mine is going to piggyback off of that. First, though, again, congrats to Sim for his Hunter show. It's amazing, fantastic. Hey to everyone in the chat, especially the ladies, especially the ones who are always in the group messages, contributing, even though they're not on the show tonight. And hey, Ma, I know you're in the chat too. But for the team's identity.
Yes, hello.
For the team's identity, based off of what Miss Debbie was saying, I think a lot of times we get our competitive edge from our defense setting the tone. I think that's one of the reasons why Coach T likes to defer. He wants the defense on the field first to set the tone. He was one of the people who didn't care about the overtime rules changing or not, because his mindset was get off the field. So for that, I think we need to build that defense back up to being the ones who, you go out there and you a dog and you let the offense build off of that. Like Miss Debbie said, Miles Jack, he gave a great interview saying he talked to Coach T and he was like, I want to come there. I want to win. I want to play like that. And low key, I watched Mitchell Trubisky's interview as well, and he kind of has that same mindset. I think he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's ready to go out and play too. And he's somebody that could say, you see what the defense just did. They just got us the ball. We need to go drive and score. And that's something I respected that Ben always did. If Ben had one more chance, I felt comfortable that he was going to be like, hey, follow me down the field. We about to go get this. So I think having a hard-nosed, defensive-minded team that's going to grind, that's going to, go get it. I miss having Vince Williams out there knocking somebody's head off. I like that we still have Cam, who's going to go out there and do some grown man stuff. TJ does the same thing. So I'm hoping that our defensive pieces continue to do that and add another layer to it so that the rest of the team just plays off of it. So.
Yeah, man, and I always have to say this really quick, because people have commented about this. It was like, how come sometimes you look away from the camera? I have my screens are on the side. My camera is right in the middle. And just like you do in real life, you look at people while they're talking. So you're going to see me looking over here a lot. I'm watching Miss Debbie. I'm watching Destiny. So I know where the camera is, folks, but that's why I'm doing this. And the chat is over here. So when I'm looking right at y'all, I'll try to keep my eyes forward. One word and one word only, I think we all will agree to it. Physical. That's the identity I want from this team, is to get back to Steelers physicality, offensively and defensively. On the defense, I want to get back to guys flying around. I think Miles Jack is going to bring that for sure. Hopefully, he can do something with Devin Bush. I still think Devin Bush has the ability to play. I just don't know if his mind will allow him to do it. Maybe 1 year removed, maybe after playing, and he might feel now like, okay, I could get back to normal. But just think about if Bush can be what he was in his rookie year, second season, before he got injured, along with Miles Jack. That might be cool to see, sideline to sideline. Miles Jack can cover. So I just want to see guys flying around. I want everybody to play like Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward is, y'all remember that? Which game was that, man? Was it the Chargers where Cam runs all the way down? Come on, man.
And made the tackle.
This dude is over 30 years old. Like, I need that mentality. We got TJ. We got Minka. I think we got the players that can do that. And then offensively, that goes without saying. Mm-hmm. We have to be physical, because I think the identity, in my opinion, needs to be still more run-centric, more run-heavy, with play action, read option, mixing those things in and out. So that's what I want to see. I think the addition of the Daniels kid, James Daniels, he's definitely a solidified guard. We'll see what happens with Mason Cole, but I think they're building or gearing up to at least be a more run-potent team. And hopefully, on defense, we'll be able to stop the run. So that's all I got, man. Physicality. That needs to be their MO. When you play the Steelers, it's going to be a physical ball game. And I don't think we can say that as much last season. It was sad. It was kind of sad to see. Man, I feel like we flew through that one. So let's see how we get to the next topic. Man, keep in mind, everybody, we're gonna have side conversation and stuff like that. So we're not gonna just stick to the topics. And if we go through them too fast, we'll find something else to talk about. Let's see.
Does anybody in the chat have any different identity that they?
Oh yeah, that's a good one, because y'all can see the comments. So let's see what y'all got, man. As I'm mulling over the other one, how do you guys feel? Give us an interesting comment to respond to. I agree with Mr. Winningham there. He says he thinks that Brian Flores will refocus Devin Bush. That's a good point. Oh yeah, I forgot about this guy. The guy we just picked up. What's his name? Gennard Avery.
Gennard Avery, yeah, the linebacker from the Eagles. He was flying around in the clips that I saw. I like that.
And he played inside and out.
Yes, sir.
So I don't want to speculate. I'm just curious. I wonder how much time he's going to see. You know,
I thought about that. Mm-hmm.
If Devin Bush is not back to what they need him to be, you know, we're going to see a more potent rotation. I don't know. We'll see. What else they got? Anything else for us? Builder's Life says, I think Mitch needs more work on processing his reads, so to get the rock to the wide receivers will be his struggle. He's comfortable with using his tight end and checking down like the reindeer. Yeah. Listen, man, let's go off script for a minute and talk about Mitch for a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are going to say I'm crazy, but you have to look at the good and the bad. If you can remember when Mitch Trubisky was playing well and what he was good at, I think he could very well fit in what we think Matt Canada's offense is going to be. He's not our franchise quarterback, but Mitch Trubisky can run the ball. He can run read option. He can get on the move. We can move the pocket, play action. I'm just saying, if we're running the football and all we're asking him to do is every now and then run a play action, I think Mitch Trubisky is going to be a little more successful than people think. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback. I'm not even going to say that was the best option. Maybe it was, though, when you consider what Tomlin kept saying he wanted. Maybe he was the better of the guys that he felt could be mobile and could run the football, and I've been there, done that type of dude. Mm-hmm. And for the money they got him for. So
I'm optimistic.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead.
Could he be the next Ryan Tannehill? I mean, it don't got to be as long as Ryan Tannehill, but look how bad Ryan Tannehill looked when he was with Adam Gase in Miami, and look at him now with Tennessee. You know, he has a good running back, average defense, good wide receivers. You just never know what a fresh mindset. And I do think that we didn't get to see Mitchell all last year, but he was learning from Dabo and Josh Allen. I'll take a quarterback who sat like that after being a Pro Bowler, maybe had a bad coach and is looking for a new start and is hungry. I'm not going to judge him until I see him this year.
That's what I don't get from us, man, as fans. I mean, I get it. Maybe he's not the guy, but just all I can do now is root for him. Because even if we're going to get to this, it wasn't on the docket, but we're going to talk about the draft. Even if we go up and get a Willis or whoever, I don't think they're going to play right away. Like, Trubisky is going to play. And in my opinion, I know it's going to be a camp competition. I don't think you bring him in, and even though they're not paying him so much, I think his contract is still more than Rudolph. You're not bringing him in to sit down behind Mason Rudolph. And if he can't win the job against Rudolph, then either we're excited for Rudolph because he looks that good, or we are mad at the fact that Trubisky was our best attempt and he ain't as good as Rudolph. So, I don't know. We'll see. What you think, Miss Debbie? Were you surprised at all when you found out that the Steelers signed Mitch Trubisky as their bridge or stopgap quarterback?
I was very surprised. And I may have this, I think I still may be the only one with the unpopular take that I'll have my Bahamian flag stake on my mountain that I didn't like it. I figured that since they had given the money to Mason, that they were gonna build everything else around him, and then go forward with him until they get their guy that was gonna be able to sit behind him and learn until he can come in. When they brought Mitch in and then have to pay him, already tendering Haskins, and then you already paid Mason. I was livid. That was my first reaction. But I have to trust them. They know best, the organization. They've seen more tape than I've ever seen of him. So I just have to trust in what they've done. But my flag is out there that I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. And you know what? The more we talk about it, I'm talking myself out of saying that it's a competition, because it's if you were just gonna do like what Debbie said, and I thought they were gonna do that too. If you're gonna just have Rudolph and build around him, and remember I kept saying way before the season, look, he signed an extension for a reason. They must have told him he was gonna be the starter. Yada yada yada. You could have went and got a lesser tier backup to come in and compete against Rudolph. I don't think you go get Trubisky, who seems to be a more, at least ideal. The idea would be more him suited for that offense more than Rudolph. So it looks like, no, this is who we're going to run with now. Versus,
and especially when Mitch has the idea that he's coming in to start.
Yeah.
When you already told a guy that it was going to be his after Ben left.
Oh, man. Is Mason Rudolph the new Landry Jones?
I think it was Matt Williams and Dale Lally that said something. I was like cracking up, but I felt bad for Mason. They're like, they'll give him lip service and say, no, Mason, you know everything so well. Yeah, we're going to give you less reps just to make sure Mitch knows what he's doing. But don't worry, you're still in the competition. But you get 40%, he gets 60. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you go get that guy if you just want a veteran presence. Okay. Well, I mean, if you're Rudolph, it's a cold business, folks. It just is. It's a business, and teams have to acquire depth and things like that, and re-signing Mason Rudolph. You gotta look at it like this. I, for one, don't understand why he did his extension last year before the season started. It makes no sense to me. If I'm Mason Rudolph and I feel like I can at least go somewhere and compete to be a starter, I would have tested free agency. I know Ben is retiring, so then I have the conversation. Hey, he retired. What y'all want to do with me? Oh, okay. I'm going to go test free agency. Like, why would you? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Maybe he looked at it as he didn't have enough reps, because even the season that he and Duck was going back and forth, Tomlin, being competitive as he is, was sandmanning dudes when they weren't performing. So he would be starting 1 week, he could start the next week, but if he's not performing, then he pulls him out and then puts in Duck. And then if Duck's performing, he'll start next week. And then when he isn't, then he comes out. So he really didn't get like a litany of games in a sense to, take under his arm to go to a team and say, okay, here's my portfolio of games, that you should be able to use to give me whatever money I'm thinking I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So maybe he just jujued it. I'm gonna do this extension. Ben will be gone. I'll be there. I already know the system, and I'll get the opportunity to show what I could do.
Mr. Winningham funny. He said Mason's delusional. I think he is a little, just a little, because I think too, like we're talking about his what's the term that we like to use? His blank of blank, his body of work. I know that Myles Garrett situation is probably going to stand out too. Like, unfortunately, like man, that's it's on there. So.
Oh, that
and again, going back to Mitch though. Go ahead, son.
No. You finish, and then I'll say.
I was just gonna say, I mean, we talking about that Duck and Mason season too. Like Mitch can't be worse than that. I mean, well, like lowest ceiling, it is as bad as that. Highest ceiling, maybe I'm being too optimistic. He's Nick Foles leading us deep into the playoffs. You never know. Nick was just a backup. You just need a shot. Just get these dudes a shot. Like he's our guy for at least this season. So rock with him.
Can't be mad at that. I had an interesting tie-in when we talked about the Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph. I meant to tell y'all while we were late. I forgot to tell y'all, so I will tell y'all now. And we're not going to discuss it here because this ain't the place for it. But we were talking about the Will Smith and Chris Rock incident. Y'all see the correlation. But that's why we were a little bit late and gave our thoughts on it. This is not the show to have that conversation. We don't want to derail it, but we'll let y'all wonder what our thoughts were. Yeah, you're right. He can't be any worse than and I'm not trying to chump Duck. I mean, I'm for one to understand that if you're not playing every week, you won't even a drafted quarterback. I mean, how much did I expect from him? He had a game or two where he looked decent, and then reality hit. Same thing with Mason Rudolph. He had a couple games, then he had a couple games that he wasn't so good, but they weren't the consistent starters. So I think we can all look at them from a talent standpoint and be like, he doesn't do this, his footwork is this, his da-da-da-da-da. But everybody needs time to grow. So we shall see. But I don't know, man. I think his day he still feels confident as he should, but I don't think there's a competition there, Mason. I'm sorry. I think Mitch will have the keys, and if or when the Steelers draft a rookie quarterback, he might be the next in line when we get to like week 9, 10, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it is Rudolph, but at any rate, let's move on. We kind of covered this a little bit with Miles Jack. But do we think the free agents that we have acquired, do they fit the identity that the Steelers have, or at least the identity that we foresee for the Steelers? Do they now have some players in place, pre-draft that actually fit that identity?
So I'll go ahead and start this one. I think one, we do starting with Miles Jack, and then like you mentioned with James Daniels, and then two, I know sometimes we forget it, but just some of our free agents that we signed who were with us last season. I think Adams, he will have that mindset. He came in with a hot motor at the end of the year playing like that. I think you give him a full offseason training camp with Cam. Who's my guy that comes in? Chris Wormley. I think Loudermilk played like that. Just that D line seems to play with that. Even if they lose steam sometimes, I like them all mixing in and getting that in together. The guy we just said, Jannard Avery, and even someone who doesn't play on defense, Miles Killebrew was huge last year on special teams, and we re-signed him as a free agent. So I think our free agents that we have to this point are willing to buy into this identity. I'm still trying to see Witherspoon. He was flashy, but I'm waiting to see if he's got that knock you out too, even if you're just coming across the field. Because that's one thing I loved about Joe. Y'all know Joe Money was my guy. It wasn't just because he was a savvy vet in coverage. Joe came up to make tackles in the run game. He was our corner for that. I know you. If you don't remind you, that game last year against Tennessee, that was one of the ones that we needed. That fourth down tackle for the game, that man had 4th downs. The game, I need that energy from whoever is going to be out there in the secondary as well. So I'm waiting to see if he has that. But I think most of the guys that I'm seeing, even Cole, Mason, is it Mason Cole?
Mason
the
Cole.
Center?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of dog in him too. So I think a lot of these guys are willing to be what both Sim and Miss Debbie were saying. They're willing to be physical. They're willing to be competitive. So we're going to have to see.
Yeah, real quick before Debbie goes, I just want to chime in on what you said about Joe Hayden. That play alone just showed, it embodied everything that Destiny loves about him. Not only did he come up to make the tackle, He had the presence of mind to tackle him the way he tackled him, so he can't stretch the ball out. You know, he brings him back, being close to him. You know, he wasn't playing too far off. Like everything, his veteran, not only leadership, but just his savvy of the game and knowing the situation. All of that showed up in that one play. And we're going to miss it. Y'all know, you know, I would jokingly say, man, Joe can't run no more, which he couldn't. He really couldn't. Yeah. And in this league, but I'm going to miss him, though, man, because like you said, we don't have anybody. It would be nice if we could say it was Cam Sutton. But, you know, Minka can't be everywhere. He can't be on the island with you. So we definitely need a corner that's going to take that role, and we'll see who that's going to be. So. But what you got, Debbie, as far as the free agents, the guys we have now so far, do they kind of buy into, or do you think they can buy into the identity that we think the Steelers want, or maybe what we might want for them?
Well, I would hope so, because I think, honestly, for me, I wasn't that blown away with a lot of the agent picks other than like James Daniels, only because I knew that we had to solidify or get something done with the offensive line. And it was interesting because Dusty and I were actually talking about him like the week before and looking at his film and everything and going over his stats. So I'm excited about that. I think he will fit. Like I said, Miles Jack definitely will be somebody who will fit, you know, what we're looking at as far as what the team identity is, as far as physical, competitive, and things like that. I think for other people, I'm kind of like lukewarm. I need to see other, you know, what other tools or what other pieces they bring in and see how that all works together, because maybe in doing that, they'll create, you know, an environment that'll feed off of each other, that will make the people that's coming in create the environment, competitive and physical environment that we want to see on the field.
Yeah, you know, one guy I'm forgetting, he seems like he could be that guy as far as putting his face in the fan and all that, is Levi Wallace. Because he played pretty tough for the Bills, but I can't say I know so much about him. And I'm going to pick on Steeler fans real quick. Every time we sign somebody, you see all these people that know exactly how good a player is or how bad. I'm like, ain't no way y'all know all of these players. Now, Kenyon is probably really close. But even Kenyon would tell you, once they in the league, like I watch a lot of games, but I can't keep my eyes on everybody. You know, like I can't say what this dude been doing down at Jackson. I didn't know what Tyson Alu was doing for Jacksonville. I knew he was there, but I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't. So it's funny that every time we sign somebody, people got this full, and I'm talking just regular fans. And when I say regular, I mean, they not anybody who got a podcast. And I'm not saying that you know everything when you got a podcast, because I definitely don't. But I'm saying, obviously, I watched the team to even be able to talk about them. It's not people who are reporters. It's not Steelers Depot. It's just regular fans. Oh, that guy sucks. Oh, this guy. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, this dude was playing in a team that you don't even see that much. Like, when do we really see the Bears? You know, exactly. I saw people saying that they didn't think Daniels was that good. And I'm like, huh? I've seen him play a little bit, but just go look at his rankings and
we literally looked at his film. I went and opened up my NFL Game Pass, and we watched this film. We watched his highlights, and it's like, you know, basically what Kenyon always say: don't only look at the highlights, look at the games.
Watch the games, yeah.
So we looked at it. So that's why I thought it was real interesting that the Steelers ended up getting him. Yep. Because when we were looking at how we were going to attack free agency to kind of go through this show, it was like we were starting kind of at the bottom of where the money was. because all of the top people were going to be gone anyway. Or we didn't think that they were going to be even reaching to go to those people. So when we were looking at, some of the people we thought may be fits, that's how we were like attacking it. But then the free agency period and the tampering period got so crazy. It was blowing everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So just to round out, to get my answer on it, I do think the guys that were signed, I'm just looking at the list again to make sure I don't forget anybody. Miles Jack, I think we all have said it already. He is one of the ones, him and James Daniel are the two guys that I could say, okay, they fit what I think the Steelers are trying to do offensively and defensively. I think Levi Wallace too, just because of his grit. Only concern I have with him, but again, when you're on the football field, it ain't always about straight line speed. I need to watch more games from him and see if his 4.6 40 shows up. You know what I mean? Because I've seen a lot of games with him that he was right there. He was in from the games I've watched. I didn't necessarily notice him get roasted. I'm sure he did. Every corner gets beat, but I want to see, is he consistently close to his guy? Is he more of a zone guy? Some people have said he's more of a zone corner. See, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of the Bills. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I only watched them the last couple of years that we played, or maybe another game or two when they played Kansas City. But not enough to where I'm really focusing. I know Poyer and those dudes and Hyde because they stand out. I know what's the Edmonds guy because he stands out. But I wasn't really watching Wallace. But I did know him enough to say, that's number 39, right? And Kenya was like, yeah. I said, okay, yeah, that guy. So it's stuff like that. But Miles Jack and James Daniels definitely seem like, and Myles Garrett definitely would fit. But they seem like the two guys that I think, okay, I see what y'all trying to do. Along with that, definitely like the re-signing of Adams, like you said, Destiny. I have been saying that most of the remaining of the season. Like, man, we need this guy back. I like Akello coming back. Question with him, though. I'll be the first one to say there's a little bit of egg on my face. I'll take it. We all was in this boat when he won't playing. We all was like, man, we gave up a 5th round for this dude. He can't even get a helmet. He starts to play. He shows us what he can do. Now, here's the question. Are we going to see the consistency of that? And I'm not saying he's got to get an interception every game or 6 PBUs a game. Mm-hmm. I just want to know, is he a consistent corner like Joe Hayden was for the most part? Mm-hmm. Is he, or I'll give you a better example. Can he be what Steven Nelson was in his first season with us? Is he going to be that guy where we could say he's our man corner? He shadows for the most part. He's our cover guy consistently, because he definitely was started to look like that last season for those remaining games. So that's going to be the question, because I think when he was with the Niners, I think there was some talk about him not, the motor wasn't always running. So we got to see. The jury's out on that. But I like what I saw out of him, and hopefully it continues. I definitely like the signing of that. I don't know how to say his name. Is it Olszewski? What is Gunner's last name, y'all?
Gunner.
Gunner.
Gunner. Like what I saw out of him. He looks like he's going to be comparable to McLeod.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest, and I said it in our ladies' little text chat. So I'll have egg on my face for this one if he definitely works out. But when I saw his name pop up or whatever, I had visions of Switzer dancing in my head.
Oh man,
yo,
yeah. He looks a little more dynamic than Switzer though.
I think he made it to the end zone more than Switzer did.
He definitely has that shake and bake.
I'll be the first one. But that is exactly what I thought about when I saw that signing. Like, oh my God, this guy. Yeah, he's, and again, that's a person that you can watch his highlights, because that's, his kick returns and punt returns.
he's shifty. He has that shiftiness that, those real returners have. Like, it's a knack. He has that. He attacks the ball. Like, I didn't see him, and because I watched, they had a mock-up of all of his returns, I think, in 2020. I didn't see him do too many fair catches. Like, I saw him aggressively attack it with confidence. He looks like he's going to be okay, but we'll see. It does make you wonder, though, if he's not a guy that's making a lot of money and he's a specialist, why Bill get rid of him? Like, I don't.
And that was my main thing. Why didn't Bill keep him? Of all people, Bill would have kept him.
And he keeps his special teamers. But he keeps his special teamers. True. Think about like Slayton or whatever.
I'm about to say Slater. No, you're right. That's exactly who I thought of. He likes Slater. Yeah.
So.
But I can't think of who their return person was before Gunner.
Me neither. I don't know who it was. It might have been one of them. It might have been Myers, like one of those receivers, maybe.
Oh, Jacoby or somebody. Yeah. Okay.
So that makes me hesitate a little bit. Why?
Maybe he like to have fun.
And I don't know. So we shall see. Oh, I did want to ask y'all this, and then we'll go to the next topic because I don't know if I got you guys' thoughts, you ladies' thoughts in the chat. How y'all feel about Okorafor being re-signed? And at the price point where he signed at?
I said I'll meet your question with a question because mine was kind of like this too. So I like the Troop signing because the money looks flashy up front, but against the cap, it's a little over $3 million. He is 24 with a lot of upside. He gave up 2 sacks last year. I know it doesn't match his pressure, but if you get him next to a more consistent guard, his play may improve. So I just want to see what he'll do another year, with another line coach. I don't know. I just don't think it's too much to risk at this point. Because if you weren't going to sign him, who are you going to go get? It's one of those questions. I looked at some of the people who would have been available. It could have been the same thing for the same price. Instead, you get him and he knows the system. So why not?
And he didn't do half bad. He didn't do half bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I was with it. I mean, it's like the devil,
Yeah. I mean, I got on him early in the season. Y'all remember. But as the season, I think I hate giving myself credit. But I think I'm very fair with where I start in the season with a player to where I'm at like week 10 to down to week 17, or 18 now, I guess. But I usually say, nah, this guy's, he got better. Because I think by the end of the season, Chooks might have been one of the best linemen, from top to bottom. He may have just been him and Dan Moore probably. Because Trey Turner fell apart. Kendrick Green, I'm just going to spare you and not even talk about that tonight.
And I think at least for me, because they should kind of work as a unit, sometimes it's hard to tell who's responsible for when things break down.
That's true.
That's why I'm trying to give them in this totality the benefit of the doubt. So since the Steelers, for the most part, have better eyes on the situation, they know who they're keeping and they know who they're not going to keep. So in that regard, I will trust their judgment. But in that particular situation, looking at the whole system, it's hard to see if anybody was maybe compensating for Green's bad play or somebody's, not being in the positions where they should be in certain plays. So it was kind of difficult to say that because we've seen ourselves all the time, even looking at defense. Oh, how did he miss that? Or, this person should have been there, or this person didn't do this. And then when you look at the play like you do from bird's eye view, all 22s or whatever, when you see the play actually start to spread out, you see where people are going, and then you see somebody else really responsible, and somebody else is really taking the heat because the play actually was happening outside of where the responsibilities were.
Exactly.
Case in point, Chargers game. Initially, I was like, man, why did Sutton suck in so much? And I still want to know why he went in so much because he was playing trap. coverage.
Right.
But when you look at it from the bird's eye, I don't know what Norwood was doing, man.
Yes,
and Norwood was covering that. He covered it so well early in the game. I just don't. That's one of those rookie things, you know. And you know, of course, people said he sucked right after that. I was like, no, that's just. It happens sometimes, man. Listen, from somebody who played sports and played football, in particularly. Sometimes late in the game, you trying to anticipate too much or make a play or. I told y'all my story when the coach said, "Don't do that," and I did that. Got the interception, fumbled. We got it back, but he still come in. Why did you do that? I was like, "What are you talking about, coach? I didn't tell you to do that. What if they would have did this? Then you." I was like, "Okay, I got you." So. The kid doesn't suck, man. I think Norwood made some decent plays. He's a 7th round pick. So say what y'all want. I think that dude has some serious upside as well. So I'm excited to see what he might do in his second year. Yeah. So
and that's a draft position you don't expect to get much from anyway.
Not at all.
Round.
Destiny, I think you had a question too before we move on.
I do, because this is kind of one of those things with SteelerNation that I feel like we deal with this more so now than we used to. I don't get just like with Chooks, I don't get the ire that Terrell Edmonds draws from Steelers fans. I really wish they would stop playing and just sign him back. I don't need a Honey Badger signing, Landon Collins. There's some great people out there, but you're talking about somebody who's 25 years old. To me, he's improved every year, just like Bud Dupree did. When
he has.
Oh, we don't like Bud Dupree. Why we ain't signing Bud Dupree back?
Sidebar. No, he didn't improve every year. He only improved his qualifying year. The year
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not how sports, Miss Debbie. That's not how sports work. You got to improve every year to get to that pinnacle.
Bud did not improve.
No, he didn't.
Bud did not improve.
He didn't.
You don't think he improved? You think he's the same guy when he started?
Bud had 2 seasons good with him.
Exactly.
Well, I still think he did something. Well, I'm gonna just say.
That's it.
I still think that as a football player, you got to do something in the off season, in your training, in your nutrition, or something to get to those 2 great last years. All I'm saying, he may have improved his speed, his technique, his stance. He did something to become that guy that we didn't want. Most fans did not want to get rid of. So all I'm saying is, I don't think he made a leap overnight and was like, "Dang, he sucked. Dang, he the greatest edge rusher." All I'm saying is, I think he improved. And I'm saying, to me, from what I've seen from Terrell Edmonds, we need him to cover tight ends more. I think he did that last year.
He got better. Yeah, he got better.
So he could be a very inexpensive signing. I don't see how Tyrann Mathieu really fits in our system. I love Honey Badger. I've liked him since LSU, for real. He's a dog. He's a beast. But him and Mika together, to me, is not a need if it's going to cost a lot of money. I can't really picture how it would work, and I'm a defensive person. I'm not a defensive coordinator, though, so if somebody broke it down better, I could probably really understand how they would work on the field together. So I'm just like, just sign Terrell Edmonds and be done with it. Like, again, he's young, he's inexpensive, he knows the system, Minka likes him, Terrell Austin is familiar with them, so you're not asking your first-year D coordinator to bring in a new guy to rework him into your system. I mean, what has Terrell Edmonds done? I thought about it. I was like, I can't think of a game within the last 2 years where it was like, dang, if Terrell Edmonds would have did this, we wouldn't have lost. I'm like, what the problem is?
Yeah, I don't understand. I think I know the hate for him, where it comes from. And it's, again,
the first round.
Because nobody, even me, I was like, who? What? Now, when I researched him, I was familiar with him, but I did not think that was the first round pick. That was like a super curveball. But then also, I say this all the time, guys, and I'm a part of this too. We are spoiled as Steelers fans that have been very successful from a winning standpoint. Maybe we haven't won a bunch of Super Bowls, but we are a winning organization, and we had a guy that plays safety This dude with this extremely long curly hair that was flying all over the field, making all of these plays, catching everything, fingertip catches in the snow. And any safety that steps on the Steelers field that don't make plays like that, he's not good. That's what it is. Minka, a lot of people say he's good because of that first year, but what did they do the next season when he didn't get a lot in last season? Oh, man. See? Oh, he ain't doing nothing. Yeah. And that's what it is with Edmonds. Edmonds is not, he's just not the ball skill safety. He's just not. But I think he's a very, in my opinion, very solid, strong safety for the Steelers. Plays well in the box, tackles, bettering. He's gotten a lot better covering underneath. Like, yeah, I like him. I'll take him.
And Mr. Winningham made a great point, too. He is always available. Honey Badger has battled injuries. Last year, he was injured.
That's true.
He stays healthy.
That is very true. So, I think that's what it is.
Then it must be on Edmonds because you don't know if it's the Steelers or if it's Edmonds the one that's looking for what he think he deserves. Because
I think
people have to come to a consensus of what they think their value is.
That's true.
I think he is. I mean, I think it's, and again, fans, let's not get mad at the players. Y'all gotta think about it. Put yourself in those shoes. And I don't want to say this as a blanket statement because maybe everyone hasn't been in this position, but I've kind of been, I've stayed at some of the same jobs for a long time, but so I won't use myself. I'll use my wife as an example. She's gotten to a point where she can negotiate when she go to a job. She can look over their offer and be like, I don't know. Let me see what they're doing over here. She's made it to the level where, you know, she got her master's and all that. She's legit. You know, she's on a certain level now where she got a different playing field where she can decide. And I've been able to do it too, to some degree as well. It's just that I've stuck with more of the companies that I've been with longer just because they've been good companies. But what I'm saying is we all do that. You know what? I think I'm going to go here. This is a better opportunity for X, Y, and Z. And they willing to pay a little more as opposed to that's just life. It's not different because you get in the NFL and because they playing with, like I like to call monopoly money that none of us will ever probably never see in our lifetime unless I'm probably never going to see $20 million. I'm just saying. Unless something miraculously happens. But it's still the same game. You know, if this player, you're going to look over here and, okay, Deshaun Watson. Let's just say it. I'm not going to get into all the stuff that happened, but of course he's going to go to the team that guarantees him $230 million. Even if I would have told them no, they call me and say, look, we really want you. We're going to give you $230 million guarantee. Okay, I'll be there tomorrow. So we got to stop blaming players for not giving us the hometown discount. Or, he's not committed to the... They might not be. Some of these players get drafted wherever they get drafted. It don't mean they committed to that city. Like, you know, you think about it, that's why you love certain players. It's because they turn into that. But they don't have no allegiance to a team or an organization because they treat it as business. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, because I thought I thought that was going to be like I was like, oh, okay, we're going to get Ray back. And I'm not mad at him for testing the market and going to get paid in San Francisco. Like, no, even with Juju, we found out, no, the Steelers did offer him a deal, but he wanted better for himself. We're not out there playing. Like, man, I remember what happened to Dak. Like, things happen on the football field. You got to get your money.
I didn't think Ray was going to get that kind of money, so salute.
I didn't either.
Me either.
I didn't either.
Salute to Ray.
I think this was the first year he was really playing as a wide receiver. Every other time it was more special teams. So for him to be able to get some sort of contract that almost kind of mirrors Juju's in a sense is crazy.
Yeah. So sorry guys, we went off on a tangent there, but that's what makes it special, right? This is a good one, and I'll kick it off by just saying one name, and then I'll let y'all go. How are the free agency moves across the AFC going to affect the Steelers? I'm going to just say the obvious one. My eyes is on the quarterback position, Jack. Say what you want about how the Deshaun Watson thing happened, but he's still Deshaun Watson, at least until he shows us that he's not. Lamar Jackson. Let me say another name out there that some people still disrespect. Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. I said it for you. Yes.
Okay. We gonna see. We gonna see exactly.
That man do his thing.
Right now. Even though we gonna get to the draft in a second. Don't worry. As of today, Mitch Trubisky, and I'm not dogging him. I'm just saying. Oh, the AFC is extremely affected by free agency just off of. Well, that was a trade, but still.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. And then if you want to get into free agency, keep your eye on the Raiders.
Thank you.
Chargers. I mean.
The Chargers nasty, man.
The Bills with Vaughn. I'm just saying. There's some names out there that's going to make you kind of like, oh, what they do? Oh, how could I forget? My boy. My hometown brethren. Russell Wilson.
Mr. Wilson.
Dog.
Hey, Tyreek Hill went to the Dolphins.
Oh, yes.
We played the Dolphins this year. We do play them this year.
Hey, man.
And they got Waddle over there. They got speed.
I'm just saying. Kills. It's going to affect the Steelers a lot.
Yes, sir.
We shall see. So, what you got, Dustin? Debbie, go ahead. Yep.
No, I was just going to say a little caveat. We have Brian Flores, so we played that. We're playing the AFC East.
Mm-hmm.
We have some insider information.
That is a fact. That is
we got the scoop.
He was at both teams.
Like
he was at the Patriots and the Dolphins. So yeah.
There you go.
Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. That's what's up.
Yeah, I will say. Oh, go ahead, Mr. My bad. I thought you were done.
Oh no. It's funny because the way I looked at this, because Desi and I was debating on this. The way I looked at this, I always believe that when the teams are building their organizations, and at least for me, the teams are building to win their division, because the only way you can make it outside the division is you win your division. So with all of the weapons and stuff that's that the other teams have in this division, we have to play we have to have our team set up in a way to beat the teams in our division. Now, since we had our conversation, again, Deshaun Watson wasn't a part of this division. It was just, to me, Cincinnati. These guys had just come off the Super Bowl. People keep kicking dirt on how good Joe Burrow is. And the team is kind of stacked up in a sense. So you build to the moves that have been made so far. We have to look within our own division first to make sure that we're able to be competitive against them. And if in doing so, we can look to those teams on the outside. Even though the AFC West seems like they're stacking themselves up, but I think they're going to be set up in a situation the way the AFC North is, where they're beating themselves up because of the way they and kind of moved around in free agency. So the free agent signings across the AFC do impact the Steelers heavily, because it seems like a lot of players have actually come from the NFC to the AFC in a big way to a lot of these teams. But I think if we look at, to me, I look specifically of how the free agency has affected the AFC North first. And now Deshaun Watson has become a bigger component in our division. and then from there, then I will look outward. So that's kind of my perspective on how because if we can't get out the division, the other divisions don't make a difference.
It's gonna be interesting.
So me and Mr. we did go back and forth on that for a second, because I was like, well, I agree, but in our best years, and I could say that's from that's too general. I'll say like in our last great stretch, what was that, like 16 to 18 before Ben got hurt, when we were going up against the Jags and we were worried about the Patriots. I told her that was my point. I was like, well, we knew what we could do within the division because we were so familiar with our opponents. So seeing moves with teams like the Broncos and the Chargers and the Bills are still so important, because, or even just like the last couple of years when we were on that 11-0 stretch and it was like, oh, if they keep going on like this, can they beat the Chiefs? They weren't saying, can they beat the Ravens? You know, can they beat the other teams in their division? It was, can they beat the Ravens? I mean, can they beat the Chiefs? Can they beat the Bills? You're looking at the other top dogs if you want to be a top dog. So I was saying that moves that the Chargers are making, like signing J.C. Jackson, bringing over Khalil Mack, and they already had a solid offense. That's still important to keep an eye on, and you want to make sure you can contend with it, because if you achieve your ultimate goal of getting out of your division, you want to make sure you're built for that. Otherwise, you're not getting to a Super Bowl. You're going to run into a wall after you leave outside of the division. So I know you got to build for that short term, but you got to build for that long-term success too. And then consequently enough, a lot of these moves will affect us because we will play the Raiders this year at home. So we're going to have to see Devontae Adams with Darren Waller. They got Chandler Jones to add to that D-line. And Derek Carr was getting Darren Waller the rock. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do the same thing with Devontae, with Henry Renfrow on that team too. So we got to peep it. And I'm just saying, I think the Chargers, like you said, it's not going to take long for them to be up there where the Chiefs just were, where Cincinnati is now.
Man,
they're going to be a problem, so you got to know what's going on.
I love Herbert,
man, he is good.
Herbert is nice.
I'm not worried about Deshaun yet, because unfortunately for him, like you said, the situation is what it is. If we're just talking about the money, he got his money. But that organization, I don't know if they built the stadium on sacred land. I don't know who made a deal with who. They don't know how to win. They don't. So I something about it just doesn't click for me still. I have to see them beat us twice, 4 times, 6 times before I take them seriously. I don't know, but I'm not worried about them too much just yet. It's like Coach said about Lamar. We respect you, but we don't fear you. If we can go beat Lamar twice a year, we'll see what we can do with Joe moving forward. We did beat him once his rookie year. I would like to see it before I'm too worried about it. So,
there's history. We didn't beat Joe twice. We lost to him twice. And
no, I said we beat him once his rookie year and lost to him twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Deshaun Watson, I need to go back and look. What's our record against him? I don't think he killed us.
That's a good
question.
He
didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I know that one game, TJ was all over him. And that might have been 2020, maybe. It was one of them seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, but yeah, man, we got to acknowledge the talent there. And I just hope that we're able to match at least that threat, even if it's with Trubisky. It's not about comparing him to Lamar or Deshaun, but can our offense be a threat the same way their offenses are? And that's really all I'm concerned with while Trubisky is there. So we shall see. Really quick, guys, we got a donation. Oh, go ahead, Dustin, then I'll get to that.
I was going to say, we can't forget that Matt Ryan went to the Colts, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that.
Me too.
I forgot all about that.
See a lot of NFC guys coming over to the AFC.
I don't understand what the I can't. I'm calling them the Washington football team. I can't get with Commanders. But I don't understand.
You never mentioned it before.
Nah. Well, I don't know what they see. I'm not disrespecting Wentz. I'm just curious about that move. That's weird. But whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I forgot about Matt Ryan. I totally forgot about that until you said that. I'm still thinking it was Carson Wentz. I totally forgot about that whole situation. Really quick, man, round of applause to Y Diggy for the donation. He says it might be an indictment on Mason that no one speaks up for him like people speak up for Mitch. You are absolutely correct, because as soon as Mitch got signed, he was saying all of these offensive weapons that had contacted him. Earlier before that, when they asked the team about a quarterback, what did they kept saying? I hope they can bring in somebody. Even Najee said that. Remember when Juju was saying, I mean, it's all going to depend on who the quarterback is, but I'm going to decide what I want to do. And clearly he knows Mason Rudolph is. And again, we don't know this to be true, but the optics of that, yeah, man. I don't know what that says about Mason Rudolph. So we'll see. And what if he wins the job? Like, what if he actually wins the job? Not that Mitch looks that bad. What if Mason Rudolph wins the job outright because he looks that good? Would that be interesting?
It would be very interesting and surprising.
The day Mitch got signed, somebody was posting videos of Mason like working out, like throwing the ball around. I'm like, this is just awkward. Like, someone tell that man.
I hate to be him, man. He has to feel like he's in purgatory right now, like. But basically, I mean, at least he's getting millions of dollars while he's going through it. So
that part.
The next one we have here, favorite free agent moves, and I think we kind of covered it. So yeah, I'll throw it to you lovely ladies first, and then I'll give my thoughts. But I think we might have already kind of said who our favorites were. But anything else you wanted to expound on outside of who we already mentioned?
Well, not for me, because until Miles Jack, I didn't have any, and Destiny could contest to that. I wasn't.
They better sign me as safety.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I wasn't really beat for anybody like that excited about anybody that was in until that signing. So I don't have anything extra to add.
Yeah, and I will say. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Destiny. No. Go ahead. You first.
I was going to say, going back to actually re-signing Miles Killebrew, I really like that. And I can't remember who just said in the chat. It might have been Rajan. But we're talking about these high-powered offenses. We're talking about Cincinnati and teams in the division. I think it helps to have 3 phases in football. You still need that. That blocked punt taken back in for a touchdown against the Bills helped get that win. I think the Packers game could have been more competitive if they didn't call Joe Hayden offside for that blocked field goal that could have been returned. We had another blocked punt later on in the year that helped. Having good special teams is important. So we'll see what Gunnar O can do, like we were saying. But having Miles Killebrew to go along with Derek Watt, who's a great special teams player. I know we complain about him being used offensively, but Marcus Allen is also great on special teams. So building up your special teams unit can be so important in regular season games and then also in the postseason. So I really like that move, and I hope that we get to see good things come to fruition from it.
Yeah, man. Like you said, it's not a... It were interesting moves because I've never seen the Steelers that active, and I'm not saying that I'm not high on the guys they picked, but I think we all can probably agree a favorite is like a splash, somebody you feel like whoa,
like Minka.
That right there, I could not believe we did that. Miles Jack is probably that for me. Even though I think of equal value could be James Daniels, but the only reason why I would say you don't get so excited is because, and I don't want to downplay it, but we want the offensive line to do what offensive linemen do. It's not like, now if he goes out there and we seeing him just maul people, then we're going to say, man, this dude is as advertised. But I expect him to do that. So I was excited by that to say, okay, they are addressing offensive line and free agency. All right, I think I know where we might go in the draft. That's kind of how I looked at that one. Yeah. Miles Jack was the one that made me say, oh, That's a guy that might give us some pop on defense, give us some speed on defense, allow more coverage, things like that. Levi Wallace, I can't say that about him. Like, I need to see it to believe it type of thing. Let me see if he is going to be a good signing for us, because I don't know. I don't know if he's a splash player. But I'm going to have to agree with y'all. I think that's probably it.
Because even the head of the snake for me is a wait and see, and that's Mitch.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I know the unpopular opinion, what I'm going to say here, but I was intrigued by it because I was like, because it made me see draft and everything. Because I'm like, okay, Tomlin clearly spelled out what kind of quarterback they want, and that's who they signed.
Yeah.
That gives me an indication of exactly what they want in the type of quarterback. Because out of the guys who were left out there, the so-called mobiles like Brissett, Mariota, Jameis, which is and they said now the Mitch type is what we want. So that told me a lot. So I was intrigued by that one. And that's it. I agree with y'all. I don't think Mason Cole, I don't know enough about him. I was happy to see that they aggressively went after offensive line and guys who are proven guys and young guys. Indeed. But other than that, I was excited by Killebrew as well. Mollett, we'll see. And I was happy that we got Witherspoon back, of course, and Adams, but we already talked about those guys. So let's see. Looks like we only have one other scheduled topic. We'll hit that one, and then we'll talk about the draft as far as what we expect them to do in the first round, and then I guess we could close it out after that. Early predictions. Will the Steelers, based on what we know today, be worse, the same, or is it too early to tell?
Go ahead, Ms. Debbie.
Well, for me, I think I'm gonna have to kind of cop out. I'm pleading the fifth. I'm pleading the fifth.
Fifth, no.
Because for me, I think it's too early to tell. It's players that we like from the pickups. It's players that they re-signed that we like. It's, but until we see them, at least to me, until I see them really play, it's the only way I'll know how they're going to perform. We all kind of going off of their last plays. And the free agents weren't on the teams. So we're going off of their last play of their former teams, which were systems that's not the Steelers systems. So to me, it's too early to tell. I'm just hoping that it can't be any worse.
Right.
It's funny. This is my question, and I really don't know. I want to say better because you always want to believe that the organization and the team are making moves that are truly going to make you better. And I'll say with them being so aggressive with the free agent signings, it's a good sign that, the offensive line may be better, so it'll help us produce more offense just by helping Najee's game, which then trickles down to help Mitch's game. You hope that the defense is able to keep up their sack record, but then also get more turnovers this year. And at least, he got maybe 2 more wins. It's a difficult schedule, but I don't think that ever really determines what the Steelers are going to do as far as competing. I'm spoiled, so I've seen Tomlin not have a losing season yet. So I think they could be better just based off their edge, their moves, and we still got a draft to get through. So let's see what they do with that too.
Yeah, it is hard to say, but I will say better, but only I will give it from an expectation standpoint, and it's kind of what Destiny already wrapped up. You expect with them addressing the offensive line. We don't know what's going to happen with Kendrick Green, but you probably expect right now it's going to be Moore, Dotson, Cole, Daniels, and Chooks. Mm-hmm. You expect the interior offensive line to be better, so that sounds like we expect more production in the run game. That's fair to assume. Defensively, we added a piece, but there's still a missing piece in Stephon Tuitt that they still... Now, Tomlin, even just in the interview he just did with Missy Matthews, he went so far as to saying, we don't have the answer yet. Like, so they basically saying they don't know. They waiting for him to say, yeah, I want to come back and play. So there's a very possibility that there is going to be no more Stephon Tuitt. But I still feel like they're going to do something to address the run game. So we can expect that they won't be historically bad against the run like they were last year. But I'm going to agree with you guys, man. You know what? Side comment real quick. I just heard this in the corporate world. You no longer can say you guys as a generalization because of today's climate.
Why?
It's offensive. If you're
it's
talking...
not politically correct these days.
Not,
what you're supposed to say? You, he, me, she, him?
You all.
I just heard that. Like my wife was telling me they sent a memo out of her job and everything. And I was like, everybody does that. It's just a common thing. But whatever. Only reason why I thought about it because it was just I recently heard that like yesterday, and I just said it with you all, and I know y'all don't care, but it's weird, man. This society is getting weird. It's getting weird out here. But anyway.
I wonder how they address that internationally, especially when a lot of languages have male and masculine and feminine words. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I don't think that's offensive at all, but who am I to say? But yeah, I'm going to agree with you. It's too early to tell because do I think we're going to be extremely better? No. I mean, I don't. I look at who we're playing. I mean, like you said, we got to get out the division. Can we play with those teams? I think so. But what's also still kind of unproven is Matt Canada's real system. Mm-hmm. Is Trubisky going to be able to run it? Or the next quarterback, excuse me, or Mason Root, whoever it is. Are we going to see the full Matt Canada offense on display, and is it going to click by like week 7, 8? We don't know. It's unknown. But my expectation is we will be better because of the pieces that they're putting in place. You would expect run game on both sides of the ball would be better. So that gives us at least, where did we finish? 9-7-1? Mm-hmm. I could be modest and say I could see 10-7, I would hope.
Yep.
11-6 maybe.
6. Mm-hmm.
But 10-7, I could see that. Were they better? Technically, yeah.
Right.
Do we win the Lions game? If we had this team, probably. I think Mitch can get us out of that one. But I don't know. I don't see us winning the division as we sit here today. I can't assume that. Can't assume that one. So there you have it. So last quick topic, and I'll actually start it because mine's going to be very quick. And then we'll get out of here because we got plenty of time to still talk about this before the draft happens. What do we expect the Steelers to do in the first round? I've been saying it. I'm going to say it again. The Steelers, I really believe they are making a play, putting themselves in prime position to move on up and take, of course, Malik Willis, if we all believe that that's their guy. If he is their guy, let's say he's the one that they want, I think they're putting themselves in position to do it, and I think they're going to do it. I think they're making it very obvious. Tomlin also said with Missy Matthews, or it was either him or Colbert, but they basically said, we're going to look in the draft for that fourth quarterback. I don't think they talking about fourth round, third. I think they're going to go get Malik Willis if he's the guy. Here's a sleeper, though. I think they like Desmond Ridder more than people think. I have a strange suspicion. Me and Kenya was having that conversation. And what I mean by that is, when I say like, I mean this. Let's say Malik is too far to get. Say it's going to cost too much to go up and get him at 5, 6, 7, wherever they got to go. It would not shock me if they took a guy like Ridder at 20. If they sat tight, wouldn't surprise me. Because we know the Steelers have jumped the gun before. Like, maybe they won't trust waiting until the second round. It wouldn't surprise me if, hear me out for those who don't like Ridder. Their plan is obviously the same plan that they had in 2004. Draft a guy, let's let the veteran play a year or two, and let's bring him up. Most people would say that Ridder is the more, quote-unquote, he's maybe pro-ready because of his system and the amount of games he played. And I know they say that about Pickett too, but he's not as raw, technically, from a time played standpoint, as Malik. I forget Malik Willis only played like 2 seasons. I kind of forget that. Ridder is a guy that maybe they feel like they can develop. I'm not advocating for him. I'm just saying, I'm watching the Steelers, man, and just watching how they move. Listen, they didn't go to all of them pro days for nothing. I don't believe that. I don't think it's no smoke screen. They said it themselves. They don't hide. They went to those I believe they went to all of those pro days because they have the intention to get one of those guys, and maybe the pro days now, after meeting them, has narrowed it down to 2 or 3 guys. I think Ridder is in the mix. I really do. I don't. It's a strange feeling. I just think it's something about him that they like, man. Because even when I watch him, I see potential in him. Now I know Kenya says he's Josh Dobbs. I don't think that, but I can see why Kenyon is saying that. But I don't. I actually think Ridder has upside. I do. I think he could develop into something, and you know he's not a big guy as far as frame, but you know he's 6'4", whatever. I don't know, man. Don't be surprised if Willis is gone and they sitting there at 20 and it's Howells on the board, maybe Corral and Ridder. Don't be surprised if they take Ridder. And if I end up being right, I promise y'all I'm not gonna come back and say I told you, because nobody knows. It's a hunch. I have a hunch that I think they like him, man. I really think they see something in Ridder. So that's all I got.
Right. Real quick, and then I'm gonna because I got a slightly way different answer. Real quick to In the Green TV, who I think is Mason Rudolph's burner account. He said we were talking like we're assuming Mitch is going to be the starting quarterback, and we kept on repeating it.
He always
First of all, dude, we're assuming that because the Steelers paid him like he's going to be the starting quarterback. If you watch this interview, he said he was only taking opportunities that would allow him to be a starting quarterback. I heard Sim say it, and we all joked about it. We said, what if Mason beats him out at camp? It's going to be a competition. But we can only go off the information we have right now. And as of right now, it looks like that's our starting quarterback. So that's how we'll keep talking, like the rest of the media. Now, on to what Sim was saying. What do you do, though, if Malik is gone? Because you do have Seattle in front of you. You have Detroit. You have Atlanta, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm hearing is if you have those top 2 quarterbacks gone, this is a draft that's loaded with once in a lifetime too. Well, not once in a lifetime, but like, you know, generational talent on defense and offense. What I would like to see them do, like I know what you said, and most of the media is saying this is not a team that plays games or doesn't need smoke screens. They're going to all these pro days. I would still like to see them take the best player available.
Mm-hmm.
Please do not pass up one of these first round cornerbacks if they are right there, and
man.
Desmond Ridder and Corral are right there. Try and get him in the second round.
Yeah.
If Booth is there or somebody else that you didn't expect, I hope that they don't stick to this, we got to get a quarterback thing. I want them to take the best player available still.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they will because they have been so heavy on the quarterback circuit, but that's what I would like to see them do. If you could get a guy that's going to be the guy, then get that guy. But if not, then I think you're right. They're going to take one of those quarterbacks. I don't know which one, though. I missed the Senior Bowl this year. And then I've heard so much about all of the quarterbacks. I'm just like, I'm going to wait and see. Because I think it's also entertaining to hear people go over the last 5 to 6 years of how quarterbacks in the first, 20 picks have been taken and where they are now. Like I think Dave Bryan from Steeler Depot said, my stomach hurts after Alex went through the list, because it's all like some of those names, guys that were high picks.
Yeah. Some of them I forgot.
Not still playing or starting. Exactly. Yeah. So you just never know how quarterbacks are actually going to turn out. You have your exceptions. You have your Tom Brady's. You have your Lamar Jacksons who go 32nd, and you wish you would have taken them. Same thing with Mahomes, who was in Trubisky's class. Like, I don't trust these guys. Look at Goff, look at Wentz. I don't know where Trevor Lawrence is going to be, but I don't ever trust them until they get a couple of seasons in. So.
And you know what, real quick, before Debbie goes, I wouldn't be opposed of them doing perhaps a Lamar Jackson situation. At 20, they go with the best player, and then they fool around and trade back up into the 32nd or 30th. I wouldn't be opposed to that if they so hard set on getting one of the quarterbacks and they think the guy's going to be gone in a second. I could stomach that a little more than a reach at 20. Yeah. Because like I said, I'm not endorsing Ridder or any of them. I'm just saying all signs are telling us that they're going to draft one of these guys if they don't go up to get Malik Willis. And who knows? The funny thing is, what if Malik ain't even the guy? What if Corral or Pickett, like who knows? But it's probably Malik. But they might reach at 20, man, if one of them sitting there. Like, say if only 2 of them are still there. And that's the thing about the draft. It's like, it's almost like not really, but almost like the Creed Humphrey thing. It might end up being one of them where they're like, Malik is gone, Kenny's gone, so-and-so is gone. I don't know if he makes it to the next pick in a second. Sometimes that's how it be. So, I don't know. We'll see. What you think, Debbie? You in favor of them moving up? Taking Ridder? Taking Howell?
Well, as much as I know about the quarterback is what you guys discussed in the chats and the shows prior to this one. I haven't really kept up with the draft like that because, basically that's what you King and Tony, that's what all you guys do. And since we were looking at free agents, I just, disconnected myself from the draft altogether. But if I'm looking theoretical in a sense, I agree with you in this sense. If you think this is your guy, you go get him. However, I still have a caveat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bet the farm to go get him. So I'm not giving you my draft pick for this year because most likely you swapping positions. But I'm not giving you my draft pick for next year or my capital for 2 years like Cleveland just did. Or I'm not going to do like a New Orleans Saints to get dude when they, blasted out their draft picks for like at least 5 to 7 years to get I forgot the dude's name that was smoking joints or whatever.
Oh, Ricky Williams. That's
Ricky Williams. I'm not
trying to give up everything.
Mike Dicker lost his mind, didn't he?
Blow the doors off and stuff like that. My position is if that's your guy, I'm only willing to go maybe 2 or 3 positions up to get that guy. If you're looking at the draft and you suspect that the draft is kind of going to fall the way you think it's going to fall, you should be within 18, 17, something like that. I'm not willing, and for me, my comfort level is not anything higher because I think you're going to have to give up more to get there. But if your quarterback isn't there and you don't see like your best player, I'm basically in favor of going back in the draft and to get more picks to put my team in position to have more players to battle it out to get the best team on the field.
That could definitely happen. And I swear, man, the more I say it, people are going to swear that I'm campaigning for Ritter. I'm not. I'm only saying this because I have a feeling they like him. Just, you can kind of get a sense of, when you can read stuff sometimes. When you see interactions, you kind of get a sense of a guy that you think that they really, if Ritter and all of them are still there, what Debbie said could make perfect sense. What if you trade back to get another second round pick or something like that? Then you take that pick and get your quarterback because he's still there. And then you grab, it's definitely things that you could do in this class. It just all depends on, we say it every year, what the Steelers got on their big board. Because
between like 20 and 25 to 27 is actually a sweet, not 20 to 25 is like a sweet spot for going back or even going up, maybe at the most 5 picks. Yeah. So if you're in there, I think you're in a prime position. And with the Steelers at 20, they could go up. But like I said, my comfort level, and it's just me personally, don't go higher than 17. If your quarterbacks are not there and you don't have like a best player, like somebody who's gonna come in because they have a horrible history of quarterbacks or like their defensive players like that. If your guys are there at 20, please go back so you can get more capital to make the team better in that perspective, especially since the Steelers' philosophy as a whole is building through the draft.
And great point about that, because I was going to question. I meant to ask you and Kenyon about that last week. Like, how much are you all willing for the team? Like, how much would you be happy with the team giving up to go up and get a guy? Because if we're talking about future first rounders and second rounders, no, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth, man.
It's going to take that. And actually, I see I Am What I Am TV has posted. It's going to take something like that. I might have mentioned it last week. I foresee it taking, if they got to go all the way, let's say they got to go get in front of Atlanta or whoever. Because, again, the pundits, everyone thinks that Carolina is going with Pickett. We don't know that. But, So let's say they have to get in the top 10. I think in order to get up there, it's going to be a swap of this year's first rounds. It's probably going to include 2023's first round and another pick somewhere, whether that's third, fourth, this year or next year. It's going to, because, teams know the value. They, you know what I mean? Like, they ain't no way they going to let you walk out of there without giving up that first. It's impossible. So I think, again, if they believe that is their man, okay, we'll see if y'all are right. And I'd have to be, I ain't gonna say I'm in favor of it, but if that's who they believe it is, and I would say only because I know the value, I would be cool with them giving up a first round pick, right? That's it. Nothing crazy like, we'll give you 2023s and 24s. No. If you want to say, I'm going to go this class instead of next year's class, because essentially that's what you would think they would use their first for next year. Okay, I'm cool with that because y'all have decided Malik Willis is who we want now versus trying. Because make no mistake, it goes back to what we said about what the Steelers are going to be this year. they probably gonna win enough games to be right back where they are next year in the draft. So we're gonna have to do the same thing to go get Bryce Young or Stroud, or it's gonna be the same situation. They gonna have to move to go get one of them top dudes.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for us fans though, because we all kind of like, you better make the right decision, but nobody knows until they hit the field. You know, it's like.
And we definitely don't want the Steelers to be in a position where they're sitting at a spot where they could just pluck the guy because they were so bad.
Number one overall. Oh my gosh, man. But it's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait till the draft because I really want to see what are they really. I mean, look, last time we had a suspicion, they did it. They went and got Devin Bush.
I thought you were talking about Najee. Mm-hmm.
And Najee, they didn't have to move.
Right.
See, I think his position kind of dictated that. But they sure enough went and got Devin Bush. Like, so that's why, as I sit here, I don't think it's out. It's not impossible that they're going to move up. Because they just showed us that they're willing to do it. The question is this, though, and this is just my belief. I think the teams, they all know what each other are going to do. I don't think there are many teams that keep secrets because that's how trades and stuff happen. Like,
right.
They contact, all right, man, who y'all looking to take? If y'all, okay, we want to make a deal with you because we, you know, like, I kind of feel like Colbert and them will get a good sense of who Carolina is taking. You know, like, I'm sure. And maybe the team lies to them, but I feel like that conversation happens like, all right, where y'all going at 6? You know, y'all know this is our guy. Y'all taking him. We got to come up. And some people will say, well, why would they do that? Because then if they lie to you, they still can turn around and get their guy. But no, they can't because we're going to boot them out of their position. So I think again, this is just my mind. I think in a scenario like that, the team would be honest and say, we're going to take Pickett or we're going to take so-and-so because it doesn't do them any good to lie and just get your pick. We move up to their spot and then they go back to us and they lose the guy they really want.
Right.
So I think they have those conversations. So I think the Steelers are definitely going to know who Carolina likes. They probably have already identified what team they know they need to get ahead of. So we'll see, man.
The more we talk about it, the more I don't like it, Sim. I don't want them to do it. Don't do it.
They gonna do it. You watch. They gonna do it.
Man.
I mean, because if we're being honest, this is a couple years in a row that the smoke that we were seeing turned out to be a fire. They kept saying Steelers are gonna trade up for Devin Bush. It happened. They kept saying Steelers is going to take Najee. If he falls to 24, and that's what they kept saying. They took him. You know, it's like, I just don't think the smoke is there for no reason. Like, I think they like Malik. I think they definitely made it known that they like him. I think that throw that he made to end his pro day solidified him going early. Because I know it's with no pads. I know it's against no defense. Ain't everybody can make that throw. You cannot roll out to the left and throw it across your body to the other side of the field, 65 yards or whatever it was on the. You just that's
attractive. You know who I just thought about though? Yeah, Baker Mayfield. That man was a number 1 overall draft pick. I can't do it with these quarterbacks. I can't do it.
I know. I'm with you. See, I'm gonna try to stay on the good side. I'm gonna go with my guy. I think about Pat Mahomes. Like,
I give you that.
That's once in a lifetime, though. I mean, Malik is not that type of prospect.
Yeah.
Cause Kenyon remembers when I just stumbled on Mahomes because I didn't know much about him in college. I had heard of him, but when I saw that the Steelers brought him in for a visit and I went and watched his film, Kenyon to tell you, I was like, yo, this kid's arm talent was immaculate. Like his deep ball in college, I was like, how is he this accurate? And I was like, hey, man, this dude is special. But everybody kept saying that year they were expecting him to be like a second or third rounder. Nobody was saying first round. And then obviously Andy Reid saw something, was like, oh, no. This is the guy we want.
Yeah.
So maybe that's Malik. Well, maybe he's Baker. I'm with you, Destiny. I think of Jamarcus Russell. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hard thing. And then we think about our guy. Look what we ended up getting out of Ben, man. You know, I mean, who knew?
Facts.
But
we're gonna see.
Then you get a guy like Russ in the third. You know, like, come on, man. It's tough. It's tough.
No.
I don't know. I can't call it. I'm not even gonna sit here and try to act like I can call it.
I'm with you.
I can't call it. Well, for the ladies who are listening and the ladies here, my wife just sent me a text saying, give y'all a quick story. Story time, really quick. So y'all know the pandemic happened. It's still happening, but y'all know, last year was kind of thick. We couldn't go nowhere. And I told you guys, remember I went to Florida. We went to her father's home. My father-in-law lives in Tampa. We fell in love with that whole setting, right? Not necessarily Florida, but being able to work. Because what we did, for you guys that don't know, we drove down from Pennsylvania. I was totally against it because I don't like. When I used to be in the music business, I had a line that I said, if it's more than 3 hours, then I don't drive there. That's in a song. That's how I feel. I'm just not, at that time, we doing stuff. So, you got to say cute lines and all that. I'm like, that's too far. We flying. So anyway, we drove because me and my wife both was able to work from home. And we wanted,
with a bitch
we
that
wanted to give
like that.
He good. This is live, folks. They good. But anyway, we drove so my son could be with his grandpa and be in the pool and 3 weeks time frame. But we fell in love with the idea of working and then feeling like you're on vacation. You go in your backyard and there's a pool and there's the grill. So long story short, I said I don't think I want to move to Florida. But I would like to get a house. Yeah, I would like to get a house. Maybe we get a house with a pool. So we found this house. It was perfect. We put a bid in on it. The lady calls us back that night saying, hey, the seller said if y'all could do this, it's between you guys and another family. We ended up losing it for whatever reason. I don't know. We offered the same amount. But anyway, fast forward. So now we keep looking at these homes that have a pool. So she just sent me a text saying, Nicole, who was our realtor, just sent a nice home. She was like, I want this house bad. So that's code for me. Wrap up the show. We need to take a look at this house. She said it's a nice one. So we'll see. But y'all know, I tell y'all my whole life story. I'm an open book. But man, this was a great show, mainly because I had the company of Debbie and Destiny. Always love when y'all come on. Whoa, look at that.
Whoa.
Look at that. Man, round of applause to Kev. So fun. Wow. And listen, guys, some people might say it's corny, but I genuinely appreciate donations because you don't have to do that. This is free. You know what I mean? You don't have to do it. So when somebody donates, and especially a relatively high dollar amount, in my opinion, he just did this on the last show. Do y'all remember that? He just donated the same amount. But anyway, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Let's read your comment. He says, Sim, I would draft a quarterback later on next year. I would focus on building a line on both defense and offense. Now, if they don't get Willis, I would focus on D-line and O-line so we stop the run, fix the O-line for depth, and help our next or current QB.
That right there was my sentiment the whole time. Build the trenches.
I ain't mad at it.
Use Mason because you already paid him. And get your guy. Hopefully he available next year. If you not sold on the ones that's in this draft. I am so with you. Kev's so fun.
And if I remember correctly, I think Kev said, and I love this name by the way, but I think he said when this first popped up that he's Steelers Slayer, I think. He changed his name. I think that's who that is. Kev, make sure I'm correct on that. But I swear he said, or Shadow Slayer. Because there's two of them. I think it's Shadow Slayer and Steelers Slayer. But I think this one is Shadow Slayer. I think. But I agree with you and Debbie. Listen, just because Malik Willis is in this draft, and I think people get this twisted, especially when Kenyon and I talk, we're not in love with any. It's Steelers Slayer. Okay, I had it right the first time. We're not in love with any of these players. Like, it's not going to hurt my feelings if we pass on Malik Willis. Is he a talent? Sure. But I want them to do what's best for the team. You brought in Mitch for a reason. Maybe that is your stopgap guy, and you go into this process next year. I'm cool with that. Build the team up as much as you can, and then go for the more polished, if you will, prospective QB franchise quarterbacks next season. I'm cool with that. Like I don't care if it's Willis. When I say that, I'm just trying to talk about what I think they're gonna do based on this season. But if they pass on that, I'm fine with that. No problem.
We can't act thirsty out here. We're gonna look desperate. Like, we can't do that. It's not a good look.
Yeah, so we'll see, guys. It's gonna be a fun night. I know Kenyon we're gonna do a live show. I'll even extend it. Y'all are welcome to come on too if the ladies want to join in. Let me say this too. I don't want to sound negative, but I know sometimes people ask to come on the show and all of that. Maybe we'll do that at some point, but right now I kind of just stick to, the folks who have been on because we work well. I'm always open to having additional ladies of the chat because it's some of y'all out there, but you're going to have to reach out to these ladies. And let's be real. They might vet you a little bit, see what you about. And if you pass with them, then we'll bring you on. But other than that, I'm not really a guest type of show. You know what I'm saying? So I know people always say, hey, man, bring me on. I don't really do that unless it's a panel. So maybe I'll feature somebody at some point. But for now, it's generally going to be the still table with the guys and the ladies still table with the ladies. And I'll let them decide what other ladies can join that panel. They've earned that. So that's all I got, man. Anything else you ladies have before we sign off?
I think for me, when you started vetting ideas before, the person who had the idea about coming kind of stump for your guy, maybe you should do that. And I guess before the draft. And I don't know if it's like the call-in piece of it, where they call in and they have their 2 minutes to pound for their guy in the draft or whoever. And then I don't know if it's that'll be what it is, or we pick who the best person, represented who they wanted to be within the draft, we pick who we thought best represented who they pounded for or whatever. I mean, it's kind of sketchy, but I'm going through one.
I like that. So yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. Maybe and like you said, we can do it in the phone call segment. And maybe that person will vote on it. That person may get a feature on draft night. Yeah, I like that. That That sounds very interesting. And don't act a fool. Listen, don't come on here. Don't come up here acting a fool, man. This is not what we do. And I'm gonna say this: we're all grown. You know, I'm sure we all use language and all that stuff in certain, but that ain't what we do on here. Like, let's keep it clean and professional, because you never know who's watching. You know what I mean? And we, the ladies know what I'm saying. We just don't need to act like that. Us, you know, a certain segment of folk. We just don't need. You know what I mean? I don't want that, because that's not all that we are about. We can also be professional. We can also articulate and all that. So don't come on here with that, because as soon as you do, I'm gonna mute you and you're gone. So, but all right, that's it. I'm gonna go look at this house. I'll give you all an update next week on whether or not we scheduled an appointment. So there you have it. But again, Destiny, Debbie, really appreciate y'all coming on. And again, I know it's just us talking, but I mean it when I say I appreciate like how like focused and professional that y'all are. I mean, I'm one of these days I'm gonna show you the email on how Debbie sends it. And listen to what they said on the show. They was watching film. Like they don't be playing. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They not. And again, use them as an example for people who just want to come on. They don't even come on until they have their stuff together. That's how passionate they are. Like nah, we're gonna come on. They have meetings to decide when they're gonna come on. You understand what I'm saying? So just take a cue from them. But all right, we are out of here. Stay blessed, stay safe. Good night. And we thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Until next time, peace.
Good night.